One of my TikTok followers once told me, if you're not hydrating, you're dehydrating, and I live by that. I'm not stupid because I am a creation of God, but I am kind of dumb sometimes. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Excuse my I just woke up appearance because I did just wake up, so that's awesome. Today is my day off, so I'm like, I didn't plan on sleeping in. I was gonna go to the gym, but then, you know, my alarm clock never actually went off because I didn't set it. So we slept in today. Was it by accident? I don't really remember turning off my alarm, so I don't know. But today I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about why I will never receive communion in the hand, why I think it's a form of Eucharistic abuse. It actually is Eucharistic abuse. It's not what I think. It's actually, that's what it is. Where it's at in the Bible, why we should always be receiving communion on the tongue, and yeah, just in general. This is going to be a part 2 though, so I'm not going to get to everything in this video, mainly because there is a lot, and I just really don't want to overwhelm you guys. So this is going to be part 1, and then there's going to be part 2, and if I feel like I need to do a part 3, I will add in a part 3, because I really want to give you guys the information to start doing your own research and hopefully stop receiving in the hand if you are receiving in the hand. So, without further ado, I kind of forgot the title of this already. Let's talk about why I don't receive Eucharist in the hand. Alright, number 1. This is one of the main ones that I've noticed, and I had to do a little digging. I encourage you guys to do your own digging. Communion on the hand is traced back to basically the time of, you can trace it back to basically the time of the Protestant Reformation, which was like which happened in 1517. Sorry, I had it in my head, but the numbers were mixed up and I didn't want to get it wrong. So everyone knows when the whole Protestant Reformation happened. The reason it happened was because of the whole indulgence thing, misunderstanding, and there were some bad people, still are in the church. There's still going to be bad people in the church. I don't know why y'all think the church is going to be like this amazing, like perfect, non-problematic place, because what did Jesus literally tell us? There will be wolves in sheep clothing, and that the church is no exception. There's going to be wolves in the church. So we really need to know our catechism, know our faith, know what Jesus taught us, so that we can avoid those wolves and really commit to being good Catholics and be of God's one true church. So please, learn your faith, please. The second thing, it's been condemned for literally thousands and thousands of years. Communion in the hand has been condemned from literally 100 years after Jesus was resurrected, or 115 years since he was resurrected. It was literally condemned from the beginning. I am not kidding. But Saint Basil the Great, he actually, you guys might have heard this because it's a pretty popular one. He actually gives 2, basically exceptions for receiving in the hand. This is what he says, and I quote, and I got this from Dr. Taylor Marshall, so thank you, Dr. Taylor Marshall. If, and Dr. Taylor Marshall says, if denotes a conditional clause. One feels he should, in times of persecution, in the absence of a priest or deacon, receive communion by his own hand. There should be no need to point out that this certainly shows no grave immoderation, which is pretty serious, which is what Dr. Taylor Marshall says, because it's extremely serious. For long custom allows this in such cases. Notice how he writes in such cases. That is the key. In fact, all solitaries in the desert, where there is no priest, reserving communion in their dwellings, receive it from their own hands. So let's go over that a little bit. So basically this would be the times in persecution where you would be hiding, it's illegal to be a Christian. This is basically China right now. And there's no priest or deacons present to present you with the Holy Eucharist. It is okay for you to present yourself with the Holy Eucharist. But that is only if you are under persecution, so it's illegal and you'll probably be killed for being a Christian, and there's no priests. The second thing is if you're a hermit, basically, is what Dr. Taylor Marshall says. If you're a hermit and you're living in the desert in the middle of nowhere, and for some reason the priests haven't brought you Eucharist, or they can't, or something, then I guess in some cases they would have it there with them and they could receive it themselves and bestow it upon themselves. So those are the only two reasons. And notice how he said it's no grave in moderation to do it in these two circumstances, but outside of those two circumstances, it would be grave in moderation. All right, and we're gonna go back in time again. We're going to go to Saint Sixtus. Sixtus? I literally had it this morning. Maybe I am saying it right and I'm just second guessing myself. You know what? It's fine. You guys know who I'm talking about, and I will put the information below in the description in case you guys want to go check it out. So, Saint Sixtus I in circa 115, he says, "The sacred vessels are not to be handled by others than those consecrated to the Lord." So who's consecrated to the Lord? Priests, deacons, bishops, cardinals, popes. Who is not consecrated to the Lord? Lay people, laity, lay people. Also, do you guys like my St. Benedict medal? I just got it yesterday at a local Catholic store. I'm getting it blessed tonight at Mass, so I'm really excited. I got off topic. Okay, so lay people should not be touching the Holy Eucharist because it is sacred and should only be touched by sacred hands. All right, Council of Saragossa. This was in 380. They basically excommunicated anyone who dared continue receiving Holy Communion by hand. This was confirmed by the Synod of Toledo. I think I said that right. You can tell it's early when I struggle pronouncing things. Alright, so there's that. It's been condemned from literally the first 100 years of God's resurrection, Jesus' resurrection. So, you know, and then sometimes I'll get a lot of people that are just like, well, the apostles, they ate bread with Jesus, so they received communion from their own hand. Y'all, that's how we eat. That's how we eat today. You guys forget that language back then was different. You guys forget that hospitality back then was different. You guys forget a lot of things that traditionally we don't have anymore, but back then it was really important. And that's one other thing. The Middle Eastern hospitality was where the person, the host, would actually feed the guests. And we actually have biblical proof of this. So we're gonna turn to our handy dandy Bible. I feel like I'm in Blue's Clues. And we're gonna turn to John 13:26. So let me just find John here really fast. Joshua, Numbers, Leviticus, Ezra. I know where it's at. Oh, because it's upside down. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm not stupid because I am a creation of God, but I am kind of dumb sometimes. So I kind of just realized that the Dewey Reams is a little bit different than, you know, the English Standard Version when it comes to pronunciation. So I'm gonna read it off of my Dewey Reams Bible, which is on my phone. And it says, yes, that was necessary. So this is about the time when Judas, this is when Judas is basically being called out for betraying Jesus. So pay attention. Jesus answered, "He it is to whom I shall reach bread dipped." And then he dipped the bread, he gave it to Judas Iscariot, I'm sorry, I always mess that up, the son of Simon. So back then, let's my mom's weather thing. Anyway, we're just gonna talk over it. So even back then, they would receive communion on the tongue. Yes, it's this whole thing where like Judas is being, you know, basically called out for betraying Jesus, but the point is that they still received communion on the tongue. And even saints such as Saint Leo the Great, Saint Gregory the Great, they all knew that communion on the hand was forbidden. They all knew that, and communion on the tongue was the norm. That's what they would do, and I think that says a lot, because I want to be following what's as close to the apostles and to the early saints and to Jesus as possible. I don't want any of this Protestant Reformation, you know, Vatican II, you know, everything. It's like, look, if you go to the Norvis Order, that's great. I have seen it being very reverent. Thank you, Father Daniel. But I still love the TLM. I still love the traditional Latin Mass. I still love the FSSP. I still love the reverence. I love how close I feel to God through it. I love the fact that we have a communion rail and you can only receive communion on the tongue. On the hand is not even an option. And I love that, because you know what? It should never be an option. It never should have been an option. And so now we're going to go to Holland. Because in Holland, I get a lot of talks or people talking to me about this where they're just like, well, in Holland they started communion on the hand and stuff. And I'm just gonna tell you, they started communion on the hand after 1960, which was after, you know, Vatican II. So Holland started receiving in the hand, and this was without any indults. This was without any reason. And when they did that, it was a blatant defiance and disobedience of church law and ecclesiastical authority. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to go against church law. I'm going to follow what's closest to the apostles and the early saints and everything. And also, when you start receiving in the hand, this is my personal opinion, the reverence for Jesus Christ, the body of Jesus Christ, diminishes. People are just like, okay, in the hand. And not just to mention, but crumbs can be left behind on your hand. And we believe as Catholics, every single crumb is Jesus Christ. And any crumb that falls on the floor is you throwing God on the floor. And no way, I'm never throwing God on the floor. But I'm gonna stop here because I don't want to overwhelm you guys with a bunch, so I'll put all the information below in the description box. I'll add some more links, you guys can go check it out. I highly suggest you guys start doing your own research as to what the early church believed and what the early Christians believed, and how the and what the early church fathers did, and why we shouldn't be receiving on the hand, because there's a ton more reasons, and that's why this is part 1, which I stated before. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!